named Morgan, and today I want to show you something I got in my stocking. It is the book 2099 by Tarl Warwick. And if you don't know, Tarl Warwick is, I think he's Styx, Hex, and Hammer 666. He does a lot of he edits works that are like in the public domain, especially to do with like occult stuff, religious history, like the history of like herbalism and stuff like that. It's really, really fascinating. I think that's a great thing to do, like to preserve this old literature. But he also he wrote his own like book from scratch called 2099. And I remember I must have seen the video where he was talking about this, advertising this book, and I must have like told like my mom or my dad like, hey, this looks interesting, like Styx wrote a book, can we buy this? But I totally forgot about it. Like I completely forgot I ever asked for this. So when I opened my stocking, I was like, what's this? And I was like, what is this? But apparently it's the book that Styx wrote a while ago. So I'm really excited to read this because I don't think I've read his any of his original from scratch books before. So I think this will be fascinating. And apparently the year is 2099. The presidential election is at its peak. The Communist Party, what the heck? The Communist Party of America, led by a differently abled, I like it, that's like pulling from politically correct fairy tales, led by a differently abled, wheelchair-bound, I don't think wheelchair-bound is actually the politically correct word, it would be like wheelchair user, dwarf named Wendy struggles against a Democratic Republican front led by a robot named AI45B, this is, as the Libertarian candidate. Simply named Earl urges caution and decorum. That sounds like the Libertarian Party. How do I put this? Sometimes we get interesting candidates like Jo Jorgensen. I found the Jo Jorgensen quote. She said, "It is not enough to be passively not racist. We must be actively anti-racist. Hashtag Black Lives Matter," then an emoticon with 3 fists in the air, and hashtag Vote Gold. And then there was Gary Aleppo Johnson. So sometimes we get interesting candidates, but other times they're just boring and no one has any clue who they are. As the Libertarian candidate, simply named Earl, urges caution and decorum. Their debate ensues. The results are tallied. Society is upended. This is their present and maybe is our future. This just sounds ridiculous, but I think this will be an interesting, I think this is going to be interesting to read because if nothing else, it reminds me of politically correct fairy tales, which is the books from the 90s. This seems like some over-the-top satirical work, and I feel like that's something that there isn't enough of in the current political climate. I think we need more just making fun of people in a lighthearted manner. How do I put this? I'm not saying making fun of people, but making fun of politics and stuff without it just always devolving into I hate you, you hate me. So I think this will be an interesting read. It also says technology, society, language, all has been subjugated to the all-encompassing reign of the politically correct. I don't know. All policy, all opinion, all action, judged by the state, subjugate to a social credit score system. What is this? This sounds like Google. Subjugate to madness. I'm just saying, I don't know, is this supposed to be, making fun? I don't know, when I think of that, I just think, isn't that just basically Google, though? We just, how do I put this? Google's, the most prominent, search engine, I think, when I think of search engines, I think of Google, and, they probably, know everything that I search. And thanks to the great-great-grandson of a Chinese janitor, indeed, it is the end of the world as we know it. 58 pages. I don't know. This just seems random and creative and very, very off the wall. So I'm really interested to see what this is about. I'm really interested to see what this is about. Yeah, I'm kind of like, I'm going into this expecting that it'll probably like remind me of politically correct fairy tales. And I'm like, I kind of wonder, like, is this going to be a time capsule in like 20, 30 years? Are people going to be like looking back and thinking like, oh, this work, like, is it a great example of satire from the 2020s? Like, I don't know. It's always interesting with like new authors. Like, how is their work going to be remembered? Like, is something that I always kind of wonder. Is this going to be something that people will think, oh, this is great, or will people think, yeah, this wasn't that good? But yeah, So I think this was either from my mom or my dad. I'm not sponsored by Styx. I am a fangirl though. So yeah, I hope you're having a very great day, and I hope that I inspire you to check out like new literature that you might not normally gravitate towards. Have a great day.